All right, y'all, man. Welcome back. This is part two. Let's get straight into it.
Certified demon in the streets who wasn't afraid to get on the mic and diss everybody in St. Louis, ultimately piquing the people's interest to start looking into the city's scene, just like the original pioneers of drill had done to Chicago. It was this combination of viral gimmicks, offensive disses, and authentic sounding lyrics that made Grimy a hood sensation overnight, a strategy he would even later acknowledge during his interview with the St. Louis Chicken Diaries.
So let me ask you guys, what separates y'all from them? Like, how did y'all, like, what makes y'all different?
We very versatile.
Not only that, our style.
And we put our all in this shit.
Our style, our lingo, and then got out to other cities. When we first started rapping, like hard together, like the style caught attention from other cities and the lingo, and like you said, the flashy props or whatever, the clothes, the lifestyle period.
Grimy's demonic super savage image would also cause some debate online, as fans were desperately trying to decipher just how deep in the streets he really was. He'd become the poster boy for St. Louis drill, and Redditors were describing him as Satan's right-hand man, leading to rampant speculation on exactly which murders could have been caused by Grimy personally or his wider crew. For example, Grimy's 30 Deep clique has been linked to the death of a member called K Money from 5053, aka G Street, who was shot and killed in September 2018 on the 5300 block of Minerva Avenue, with his hood beginning to use the name KMG or K Money Gang in his honor. And on Dead Goofy's, 30 Deep Grimy would claim that he was smoking on K Money. Beyond that, Grimy specifically has also been linked to the murder of a man called Booby C from LA Seaside, who was shot and killed on the 4th of October 2019 on the 5500 block of Era Avenue, a murder that took place just a few weeks before Dead Goofy's dropped. There have also been persistent rumors that Grimy had taken part in avenging the December 2020 murder of his friend Freaky from 30 Deep, who was allegedly killed by members of the 8, aka the Cochrane mob, with a man named Quincy getting officially charged for the hit. However, whether these rumors have any truth to them remains unclear, but what's noteworthy about them is that they all allegedly happened during or after Grimy's blow up in music, with his possible dirt from before that still remaining largely a mystery. But regardless, Grimy's disrespectful but thoughtful music and an alleged deadly reputation in the streets got him on the radars of the biggest killers in the music industry at that time. And already the following month after the release of Dead Goofy's, Grimy would come out with a major announcement. He was joining none other than King Von for his grandson tour, together with his good friend C Murder. Grimy would also get features from big time artists like NLE Chopper and Lil Baby. Both of these collaborations
Boy, got a feature from Lil Baby, King Von, and NLE Chopper. But that's when they was going crazy, especially NLE and Lil Baby, you know what I'm saying? That time, that's good though. Like, you new rapper, you getting Lil Baby and King Von and NLE Chopper, like that's good though, for real. If y'all really think about it, that's actually good though. Like, to be a new rapper and you getting like songs with them at that time, crazy. Not gonna lie, y'all.
Gaining millions of views on streaming platforms. But success came with a heavy price, because the same authenticity that made his music compelling was creating him real enemies in the streets. And one of these enemies was KB6 from the 57 Floyd mob, another young rapper who took Grimy's words as a direct challenge to his crew and family, with KB breaking down the beef on an interview with the Views from the Arch.
I wasn't dissing nobody and none of that, like, so shit was like, motherfucker kept on playing with me, kept on saying this. Like, you can't just feel like you can say whatever you want to say to me. I ain't that type of, you know? Like, this way, it go way past the rap shit.
Dead Goofy's and its popularity had painted targets on multiple backs across the city, and KB6 was one of the people who felt compelled to respond with a diss track of his own, dropping his response titled 30 Dead Homies only days after Grimy's song. On the track, KB6 threatened to pull up on Grimy and shoot his girl and maybe even his mother, but while Grimy was now getting targeted from all sides, he would decide to stay in St. Louis, a very bad decision after becoming the city's most notorious gangster rapper. Later on, Grimy's actual neighbor would make a long Reddit post detailing the events that followed after it was discovered that Grimy was actually living on his block. In April 2020, a man living on the 4100 block of Dressel Avenue in the 45 Ferris Hood would arrive to his home to find the block taken over by young men armed with heavy artillery. It was at this point that he realized that he'd been living next to 30 Deep Grimy for the past 4 years, but it seemed that since Grimy's success in music, he was now taking no chances, and he started having his friends guard the block all day long, even doing what the man would describe as a third world style checkpoint where they stopped and checked every passing car while brandishing their weapons. Then on the 15th of July 2020, the reality of Grimey's lifestyle brought chaos to the block, when an argument between two men quickly escalated into a 40-second gun battle involving 3 shooters erupting right outside the neighbor's home. His surveillance cameras captured the entire ordeal, which he would then post on Reddit for everyone to see. The shootout began with a dispute between 2 men that quickly went left, when the man in black suddenly drew a pistol and fired. What followed was chaos, as both men exchanged gunfire at close range, while bystanders ran.
Oh, it starts like that, man. So people arguing, a fight happens, boom, somebody pulls out a gun, and after that, it's just chaos everywhere. Chaos everywhere. It's, it should be crazy.
For cover. A third shooter would emerge from a white Chevy Avalanche with what appeared to be an AK-style weapon, spraying 30 rounds down the street. The violence was so intense that bullets penetrated the neighbor's brick house, with one shot passing just a foot over his pregnant wife's head. 3 men, Jermaine Brownlee, Dwyronte Upchurch, and Cedric Vales, were wounded in the exchange, but no arrests were made at least immediately following the incident. Whether Grimey was present during the gun battle remains unclear, but within 2 weeks of this shootout, he and his crew all packed up and left for new turf, leaving the neighborhood quiet for the first time in months. But after the shootout, at this point, law enforcement had certainly begun to take notice of the city's new rising star, and it was only a matter of time before his luck ran out. On January the 5th, 2021, during what seemed like a routine traffic stop, 30 Deep Grimey was pulled over in a 2008 Pontiac G8. The car had a tail light out, and the license plate was registered to a Jeep, not the Pontiac that was being driven. When police searched the car, they found a Beretta 92 FS 9mm pistol sitting between Grimey and another passenger. Despite Missouri's notoriously lax gun laws, as a convicted felon with 2 prior convictions for unlawful use of a weapon, Grimey was prohibited from possessing any firearms. But what made things worse was what Grimey did next. Almost immediately after the traffic stop, he would send text messages to the original purchaser of the gun, asking him to falsify a bill of sale to make it look like one of the other passengers in the car had legally bought the weapon. But the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives had been investigating Grimey and 30 Deep long before the traffic stop, and they had receipts. Investigators found pictures of Grimey posing with the same gun on his social media accounts and in his phone, even posing in some of the pictures with the alleged original purchaser of the gun right after the deal had been done while holding the gun himself. They also had text messages where he discussed the purchase of the weapon, with one of the messages even including a picture that showed the gun's serial number. When the trial began in October 2021, Grimey would make one last desperate move to save himself by producing another falsified bill of sale on the very first day of proceedings, which got him nowhere. During the proceedings, prosecutors played his music videos in the courtroom, claiming his music and videos were proof of his violent nature, and arguing that Grimey wasn't just a rapper, but the leader of a criminal organization, and claiming that he had
sentenced to 7.5 years in prison day after new album drops.
no respect for the law. Grimey's defense team fought back hard, with his lawyer arguing that 30 Deep was simply a brand like Kanye West's Yeezy, and questioning why his music was even being brought up when he was only being charged with gun possession. Grimey himself tried to explain the disconnect between his public persona and his real-life identity, telling the judge that his rap career was just an image that he had to portray and that he felt targeted because of his stage name. But in the end, those arguments fell flat, and US District Judge Stephen R. Clark handed 30 Deep Grimey a harsh sentence: 7 years and 8 months in federal prison.
English rapper is headed to prison on gun charges. Arthur Presley, also known as 30 Deep Grimey, was already a convicted felon when he was caught with a gun. After getting caught, he tried to falsify a bill of sale to try and prove that the gun was in fact somebody else's. Presley will spend the next 7 years in prison.
Hey man, it's only 7 years, so he'll be getting a couple years. At least I can give him 30-some years, and so he only got 7 years. Well, he'll get out, but will his rap career still be the same? Probably not. Actually, we don't know. Maybe, maybe not. It just depends if people can, you know what I'm saying? People are still going to remember him 7 years from now. But it's about what, 2021 or 2021 where they charged him? So what? 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. He got 2 more years, I think, or 3 more years, and then he out.
25 years old, St. Louis's top street rapper, who had briefly seemed destined for mainstream success, would instead spend the next several years behind bars, watching his career slip away while his contemporaries continued to rise, and the drill music scene that he pioneered in his city was taken over by other artists. But even from behind federal prison walls, Grimey's impact in St. Louis drill is undeniable, and many still view him as the artist who single-handedly put St. Louis back on the gangster rap map, arguing that he was indeed the best rapper that the city had ever produced, while others simply believed that he had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make it out the streets, and he blew it. But while 30 Deep Grimey was locked up, a new wave of St. Louis drill rappers begun to rise, and none turned more heads than the artist known as CTS Lil Wick, whose buzz exploded not just from his music or his unconventional appearance, but from the fact that he'd already beaten a murder charge before most people had even heard his name. It was 2:15 p.m. on a sweltering August afternoon in 2022, and a 19-year-old Michael Henderson, better known to the streets of St. Louis as the rapper CTS Lil Wick, was riding his mini bike through the south side of the city with his friends. What he didn't know was that in the next few minutes, he would be fighting for his life in a deadly road rage shootout that would turn him from an up-and-coming local rapper into a national news story, because soon after, a white Jeep going in the opposite direction would suddenly make a U-turn and start following Lil Wick. The Jeep pulled up next to Wick, and soon things would go terribly wrong, as Wick would drive his motorcycle in front of the Jeep and turn his gun towards the car, opening fire. The driver, 42-year-old Joseph Raymond Shaw, was struck in the forehead by a bullet, taking his life instantly, while his Jeep would then spin off the road and crash near the intersection of Broadway and Nebraska Avenue. Meanwhile, Lil Wick would also crash his motorcycle before fleeing the scene on foot, unaware that surveillance cameras had just...
Was it like what? Some type of like, I know ain't no gang stuff because he killed another white dude, but it could have been an altercation, or maybe an altercation, something. We don't know if it was an altercation. Do y'all believe it was an altercation? Who knows? Probably not an altercation, but maybe an altercation. Who knows what it really was about? I'm not gonna lie.
Captured everything, and that his life was about to change forever. Before this fateful day, Lil Wick had been born and raised on the streets of Southside St. Louis, where he eventually also attended Roosevelt High School before dropping out in 9th grade. This decision would ultimately lead him not only towards the music that would define his young life, but also make him another kid lost in the treacherous streets of St. Louis, with Wick himself revealing during his No Jumper interview just how early his relationships with guns and violence began, where he claimed that he'd been carrying guns since he was only 10 years old.
Did you feel the need to get a gun at 10? Like,
motherfuckers just started jumping people and shit like that. Like, it went from fighting to jumping to, you know, motherfuckers going getting their own guns and shit.
By 13, things would escalate as Wick would get booked for his first shooting, establishing a pattern that would follow him throughout his teenage years.
I got booked for an assault first degree when I was a juvenile. I was like 13 or 14. Yeah, I had to shoot somebody. They was waving the gun and shit. I was just walking down the street. It was this grown dude, and he like, you grinning at? And I'm like, huh? And he instantly get the waving his little gun and shit. I instantly up blick on him. He like, you ain't gonna blow that motherfucker, white boy. You ain't gonna blow that motherfucker, white boy. I just get the blowing at his ass, and I got booked for that. That's when I first even found out what self-defense was.
A few years later, Lil Wick would start his rap career at the age of 15, slowly crafting the persona that would eventually make him a standout in St. Louis.
Imagine that, you growing up, you live in that environment, all you see is guns, drugs, people in that neighborhood, bro. You like, imagine you growing up into that. That's like you growing up into that, where that's all you see. Like, imagine that when you growing up, that's all you see, and then later on, that's what you're gonna gravitate to because that's what you see every single day. People fighting and gun, saying that's what you're gonna go to, because then now you got to protect yourself because you don't know what's gonna happen. You feel me?
His drill scene
got me rapping and shit, and they was fucking with it. We turned up on that.
and what age is this when you start rapping?
I want to say like 15.
Around this time, Wick would also seemingly begin experiencing losses to the streets, with one of the hardest being the death of his friend Jody, who would be killed in a shooting. At this point, Wick had become affiliated with the local gang set known as 70 CTS, CTS standing for both Courtois Street or Certified Trap Stars, with the gang being located far in the south side. His set would also be affiliated with several other sets and cliques, such as the clique known as the Valet Gang, with members from the hood known as 43 Gib, from the 4300 block of Gibson Avenue, known for rappers like Wanky G, and a clique known as the Artillery Gang, whose most famous member is a rapper known as Esco Jammin from the hood 5053, or simply the 50, in North St. Louis. In 2021, Wick began to drop numerous music videos, and while it's not clear how much attention these videos were getting at the time, Wick would immediately catch people off guard, being one of the few white drill rappers coming out of St. Louis. But don't let his skinny frame fool you, this is a dangerous young man. He can be seen toting guns and rapping about shooting people in numerous of his songs and videos. In fact, he likely reminded many fans of a white drill rapper who went viral a few years earlier.
This nigga was fake. This nigga was not even like that, bro. He was only getting famous because, oh, it's a white boy, drill music. People never heard of that. But later found out he was not like that. And then after that, he disappeared. I don't know where the nigga at now.
called Slim Jesus. However, Slim Jesus notoriously lost all his aura after admitting that he wasn't really a savage in the streets like he portrayed in his music. However, CTS Loic was the real deal and really rapping about his real life in the streets where he had just caught a body. Soon he would begin to catch some attention online, like in the St. Louis drill subreddit, where someone would post a picture of Wick toting a Draco together with members of the Valet Gang and Artillery Gang, with one user commenting how he must be either the plug or really about it, to which another user would comment how Wick looked like he really had some bodies. However, what would really start to get Wick some attention was his appearance in the YouTuber Tommy G's 2022 vlog about the gangs of St. Louis, where Tommy would pull up to Ruskin Avenue to film with the Artillery Gang, with a young Wick also making it.
I watched that video. I didn't know that was him. I mean, at the time, come on now. I didn't know that was the. I remember I was watching. I'm like, damn, who's this white boy? What the fuck? I remember this video Tommy G posted. I remember this video now.
Cameo.
Oh my gosh. What's up, fellas?
How's it going, boss?
All right. Fellas, where are we at right now?
Ruskin Ave with it, man.
In the video, the whole group can be seen showing off guns while claiming they were just protecting the neighbors.
What do you think the neighbors feel about this? Are neighbors scared to go outside?
They think it's cool because they feel like they well protected type shit. They rather have some guns over here than not have no guns over here.
Wick would also get to talk to Tommy, revealing that he was only 17 years old at the time of this video.
How old are you guys?
This exposure would help launch his profile in the STL drill scene, and his song Smash, which he had released exactly 1 month before the release of Tommy's vlog, now sits at almost 2 million views. But just a month later, in August, none of that mattered, because Loic would get involved in the shooting that killed Joseph Shaw and fled the scene, becoming a wanted man in his hometown. According to a Views from the Arch interview with Wick himself, he wasn't exactly on the run, but he was actively ducking the cops, explaining how he was using the time to actually try and find a good lawyer.
I gotta get a lawyer. Like that, you know? I gotta get a lawyer. Yeah. Cause I wasn't finna go on a run. I ain't finna go on the screen for that shit. You gonna get caught. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm finna chill. I'm finna eat good for a second. Like I was ducking that. I wasn't on the run though, but I was ducking that, you know? I was ducking the police like a month.
A few months later, he was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action, facing the possibility of life in prison. On paper, the prosecution had what looked like a slam-dunk case, as surveillance cameras had captured the entire incident. But when the case went to trial in January 2024, Loic would recount how he and a few friends had been riding their mini bikes around the city when Shaw's white Jeep had made a U-turn and started following them, before pulling up next to him, the two exchanging some heated words before the Jeep's occupant pulled out a gun, causing Wick to speed off. But only seconds later, he would hear gunshots and pull out his own weapon, returning fire in self-defense. While the prosecution would claim that there simply wasn't enough time shown on the surveillance video for these events to have occurred in the way that Wick claimed, he would go on to beat the case and be found not guilty on both first-degree murder and armed criminal action charges. Wick would get back to freedom, and with a legal body to rap about, he would...
I mean, quite something, bro. If you have somebody, you're riding your motorcycles, having fun, you have somebody do U-turn and follow you and exchange words with you, and the passenger pull out again, bro. Of course, you're gonna protect yourself, like. But then the thing is, in course, they're gonna try to like twist the words to make it seem like you just did it just because, like, nah, hell nah, bro. And I'm glad he beat that because, bro, like the system, we all thought the system was about your color. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's about you. If you have good lawyers or some good ass lawyers, if you have the money, and good lawyers, you most likely will beat the charge that you have. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the money at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Jump headfirst into the drill scene to take advantage of his new image as St. Louis's biggest demon, dropping a music video titled First Day Out in February 2024, about a month after his not guilty verdict. The song and music video would see Wick rapping about shooting people through their windshields, and he would state that if labels want to sign him, now it's going to cost them about $10 million. The track would go on to rack up almost 2 million views in about a year, proving that his legal victory had somehow transformed him from a local STL rapper into a household name, and he had literally lived out the scenarios that he had rapped about and walked away to tell the tale. But CTS Loic's legal victory didn't end the conflicts in his life, which had long been brewing in the background, as the YouTuber STL rap videos would later break down on his channel. Esco Jammin, the rapper from Ruskin Avenue in North St. Louis, where Tommy G had filmed his vlog with Artillery Gang, had been collaborating with Wick in the past on several songs, and it seemed like they'd become genuine friends. However, things would begin to go left after the Tommy G video, as it would turn out that the police had actually launched an investigation into a slew of car break-ins spanning from Amazon warehouses to children's hospitals all over Metro St. Louis.
Overnight, night, police responded to calls for car break-ins in 2 major facilities that looked a lot like this. Car windows bashed in with glass everywhere. This happening at the Amazon warehouse in St. Charles, and then here at the Rankin Jordan Pediatric Center in Maryland Heights.
This would result in the arrest of multiple people, including Wick's right-hand man, CTS T4, who is now facing dozens of felony counts for everything from property damage to gun theft, and would later be slammed with a 5-year sentence. Shortly after, LeWick would also get locked up for the Shaw shooting, leaving guys like Esco to hold things down while he fought for his freedom behind bars. But from Lil Wick's perspective, Esco wasn't doing enough to support him during the darkest period of his life, while also moving wrong out in the streets.
It ain't really too serious, motherfuckers. It's a lot of shit. Motherfuckers wasn't hitting my books. Motherfuckers was moving wrong. I'm hearing they're popping perks and shit.
However, the final straw allegedly came when accusations of snitching entered the picture. During the car theft investigation, someone had allegedly given police incriminating information, and fingers started pointing at a member called Len Steppedy, a family member of Esco's crew. LeWick would quickly sever ties with everyone connected to the alleged snitching, including Esco. And by the time LeWick beat his murder case and got released, the 2 former friends who had built their careers together had become bitter enemies. T4, who has since gotten out on parole after doing 50% of his sentence, would open up about the beef and the snitch.
How do you be homies to making kind of sound like maybe because in his crew, the Esco crew, somebody was snitching? Like, how did people become like they go from good friends to enemies to where now they go from enemies to now trying to kill each other? Like, that makes no damn sense at all, bro. I don't get it, bro. There has to be more than what we're seeing or what he's talking about. That's really deep, because if it's really from that snitch allegation, maybe. But I mean, if you're in the streets, bro, there's somebody in somebody's crew that if they get locked up, they're most likely gonna snitch. That's why I be saying these streets is not it, because somebody in the crew is gonna snitch. It's gonna snitch. Come on now. Nobody is gonna do that time for some crimes that they did not commit. Let's be honest now. Come on now.
That led to it in his interview with Nick O'Neill Media.
Man, I see Discovery and shit, man. He like, yeah, man, I was downtown, you know what I'm saying? Like, I called my mom and my people there for a ride, and they sent Thomas, you know what I'm saying? That's me, that's my last name. They sent Thomas me, and I ain't know the car was stolen, I ain't know the guns was stolen, shit like that. Ooh, they asked me how the guns came to my crib. I said my friends had it, you know what I'm saying? Just saying shit that implicated that I was there. You know what I'm saying?
Identify them as the driver of the stolen car. On bro.
First off, you know what I'm saying? Like,
just shut the fuck up.
You could just shut the fuck up. Man, I've been through the whole time I was locked up, no bullshit.
Been winning with us.
Esco, on the other hand, would respond to T4's version during his interview by saying that the reasons for the beef were much deeper than that, but he didn't want to get into it.
Oh, with them. That's about it.
It's like everything that like bro came on here and saying, it's like true about like what he was saying. But goddamn me, it's like more like it's more to the story. Goddamn me, it's more to the story.
It is more deeper than that.
Yeah, it's more deeper than that.
You know?
Yeah.
Because of this beef, Esco and Wick would begin trading shots on social media.
So they come from homies to now they're trying to kill each other. Told you, I said probably something deeper than what they're not telling the world, telling the people that fuck with their music. Told you. Could be that, could be something deeper, could be somebody robbed somebody that, you know, saying it was in it. It always happens. It always happens like that. People, they be cool with each other. Somebody from when they set clicks robs over here, boom, you know what I'm saying? And then that's how it starts. Now they go from best friends, homies, to now they're trying to kill each other in the streets. It's insane if you ever think about it. Like, damn, for real?
Yeah, with Esco pulling up to Wick's hood and taunting him on his IG story.
Scared.
Where's one down?
Scared. Hold on, stop right here. Scared. Yeah. Cause out here playing. Yeah. Out here playing. Look. Out here playing. They just posted. They spent through her again. They spent through her all day long.
He would also diss another CTS member in a very disrespectful way by posting a freaky photo of his sister, and even releasing a song and music video titled CTSK or CTS Killer, where he would take numerous shots at CTS LeWick, starting by saying how Wick knows that Esco has been about that life, but now that Wick has one confirmed body, he's acting like he invented killing, while also claiming that Wick was just mad about the fact that Esco was making money while Wick was still broke despite all the media attention. But Wick's beefing wasn't just contained to St. Louis either, as he would notably participate in dissing the deceased Chicago rapper Bloodhound Lil Jeff in a vlog, while his friend would shout out Bloodhound's ops, a gang from Chicago called the 9-5 Mob. So far, Lil Wick has made good moves with the cards that he's been dealt, and if he can stay focused on the music now and leave the street politics behind, he could really go far. His musical catalogue is really impressive, with 2 full-length mixtapes, Facing Life and Life of a Trap Star. Wick delivers really aggressive and high-energy drill raps over hard beats with a level of energy and rage that verges into punk rock at times. I feel like the energy of CTS Lil Wick's music does kind of remind me a little bit of Lil Jeff, but with a slightly more Midwestern Southern vibe. But you can't live like Lil Jeff and rap about it for too long. So I hope that at this point in his life, CTS Lil Wick has distanced himself from the streets and focused more on business and music. Because if he keeps getting pulled back into these street beefs, it's likely only a matter of time before he finds himself right back where he was last time, or even worse. Lil Wick has managed to become one of the most buzzing artists in the world of St. Louis gangster rap, all off the back of his case, and he's a legend in the city just like 30 Deep Grimy. But elsewhere in St. Louis, the newest and most dangerous generation of drill rappers are now battling for who gets to be the next big artist to come up out of the streets. But for even some of the most buzzing new rappers, being so close to a gang at war can bring your life and career to an abrupt halt at any moment.
But you really trying to make it out by rapping, but then also you gotta worry about like staying safe and moving safe, because you be a good rapper you almost gonna make it out, and boom, I don't know how people do it, bro. I understand because they grew up in that environment, but like to be in the streets and trying to make it out rapping is like, that's crazy. Then you can't go nowhere. You gotta watch your every move. You gotta watch your back, watch over your shoulder, because your enemies, people might have to drop on you, waiting for you all day. Like that shit's crazy. Ops, they might share the same food, like go to the store, food. They probably share the same shit. It'd be crazy. Like I just can't do it. I don't know how, gang.
Craziest situations to happen in the city saw a shootout between 2 warring gangs, where 2 of the most famous rappers on both sides of the war tragically ended up in a shootout, taking both of each other's lives at the same time. Tucked between Interstate 70 and Riverview Boulevard in North St. Louis lies the Walnut Park West neighborhood, where the 5700 block of Floyd Avenue stands out as one of the most notorious blocks in the city's drill scene, forming the main turf of the hood known as 57 Floyd. 57 Floyd is not just a single hood, but part of a large alliance of hoods that covers almost the entire Walnut Park West, known as the Six, or the group being known as the Sixers. The name Six comes from the fact that this area is actually within the 6th Police District of St. Louis, but perhaps also from the fact that practically all of these hoods are known for repping the Rollin' 60s neighborhood Crips, carrying on the violent legacy of their Los Angeles predecessors in the heart of Missouri. But while several other sets across the 6th District, like Acme Mob, Mimika Mob, and Emma Mob, claim the Six, it's the crew from 57 Floyd that has arguably become the face of the alliance, building their reputation one body and diss track at a time. 57 Floyd is known for several popular rappers, the most well known likely being KB6, who began rapping under the name Problo Gang KB around 2018. He was quite a versatile artist and was doing a lot of auto-tune pain music, showing a pretty impressive level of artistry compared to some of his peers. But after the death of some of his friends, he would change his rap name to KB6, and going on an impeccable run, with his most popular song to date being the 2019 track Going Off, which has a music video that has over 1 million views. However, the loss of his friends in the streets motivated him to go even harder with the music, and over time he built up an impressive catalogue of beloved tracks. He was even playing live shows, and as mentioned before, he notoriously had a beef with 30 Deep Grimy, as Grimy dropped the song Dead Goofies, and KB was one of the people who got dissed in the song. The song was a hit, and Grimy even went on Genius Verified to break down all of his disses in the song, so KB would retaliate in diss songs of his own that did pretty good numbers, even though Grimy had all of the spotlight in the city. His direct response was called 30 Dead Homies, and it dropped 5 days after 30 Deep Grimy's Dead Goofies, which he then followed up with another diss called Say Cheese Part 2 Dookie. KB was on the rise, even getting a feature from Pooh Shiesty on the song Shiesty Sick. However, there was a darker side to KB6 beyond the music, with posts on Reddit making dubious claims about him having 5 hats or bodies, with an estimate of 4, according to some being more accurate. And as we'll discuss later, some of these would arguably end up playing a key part in the beef.
So crazy too, bro. Is people, this how like, this is why I feel like you rapping shit, bro, about what you did, but Reddit is gonna get you. This how the cops don't even have to do their job, because people on Reddit, on the internet, is doing their job for them. Especially on Reddit, they have all the details. I don't know how the fuck they have all the details. Like, they have all the details And this how these rappers be getting caught and getting locked up because on Reddit they have all the details of what time, where, when. People on Reddit, them niggas is niggas really detectives on Reddit. Go on Reddit, them niggas detectives, like real shit, for real.
Escalate, ending in his death. There's also a whole bunch of mostly younger guys from the Six who rap under the Hothead moniker, as they rep a clique known as the Hothead Gang or HHG, with Hothead Capone being one of the most prolific rappers from this group. His most popular song is a big link up with another Six rapper called Nudie Six, and a rapper from 1100 Murder Side known as Robbo Murder, as well as a guy called Meesky Money from another hood known as the O, with this showing a whole bunch of alliances between several of the most dangerous hoods in St. Louis making its way into music. And these alliances sadly don't always hold up, as sometime after this, Hothead Capone would end up falling out with Robbo Murder's brother, fellow Murderside rapper C4 Murder, who we'll discuss in more detail later. Hothead Capone truly lives up to his name, and constantly disses his ops in songs and on social media, including a very disrespectful song with the rapper Spinner K called F All the Ops. In fact, Hothead disses Dead Ops so much that people in the comments speculate on his body count in the streets, with some believing that he actually claims murders that other members committed. He also doesn't have much care for the law, and would boldly post on IG how his crew were making the news long before rapping, and posting how his crew stepped for real while shouting out another clique from the Six known as Stretcher Gang. Then you've also got Nudie Six, another rapper from the Six, who's dropped a lot of tracks on YouTube, but like a lot of rappers in St. Louis, a lot of his biggest bangers aren't even on streaming services like Spotify, with this sort of thing making me think a lot of rappers from St. Louis take the streets more seriously than their music careers. But anyway, Nudie and Capone made some highly disrespectful songs together, like the track World War III, which we'll talk about in detail later. But beyond the music, they also regularly go live together dissing their various ops, like members of Valet Gang, known for their affiliation with CTS Lewerk, and the members of Murderside that they would have a falling out with.
How yo get crack trying to whop something you ain't never shot none. Spin through they block 2 or 3 times. I bet this Draco stop some. Valet Gang, they them boys ain't never parked now on my granny. Ain't mad his head, I'm trying to park some, hop out, I'ma hawk some. C4 gon' drop his gun, Robbo, that's better run. This switch right off a whole ton, then you gon' die for none. Glock 22 with a switch and 50, buck out just for fun. Before that lick your warehouse ass. Ain't had no fun. Ain't even had no gun. Have a gun. Better call the truth before it's done. Hey, you gonna shake your ass on label to your face. I put that on shade. Don't shake your ass on me. It ain't no heavy gates. I still smoke on Richie Rondo, dumb dinner every day on KB.
Another rapper from the Six is Jig Six, who had a poppin' song called Reminisce with 3 Problems from a gang that they're allied with called the O, where they would thoroughly diss their ops. Jig Six also features in his songs other fellow Sixers like Heavy Six, with them having a posse cut called Gang Signs that also features rapper Low Bands, aka Lil Low, and Bunu Murder, who is originally from a hood called 32N Dub. There's also a newer generation of rappers from Floyd and the Six more broadly, perhaps the best of these rappers being known as Man Man Six, whose high energy anthem Witch Strand has close to 500,000 views on YouTube. Man Man is from the Acme mob hood, but is heavily affiliated with Floyd, as shown in his vlog with TJ Films.
Where we at?
On Acme.
We on Acme. We on Acme.
Hey, you know, I'm from Acme, cuz. I'm from 5600 Acme, cuz. You know, this the real 5600.
So this.
Shout out to my Floyd boys across the street.
So y'all got the Floyd boys. Let me get on this side. So y'all got ties with Floyd. Who else?
Other up-and-coming rappers from the Six include guys like SGK Peasy, who hails from the LAC side or the Lucille Ave Crips, and also reps the clique known as Stretcher Gang. Some years ago, the Six allied themselves with the 1600 OZ, aka the O, as well as the Four, creating an alliance known as 064. The O, which also goes by names like Hammertown and Huncho Gang, is a majority blood gang hood located around the former O Fallon Place apartments, whose roots go back decades. And just like many other hoods in the area, the city's ongoing revitalization and gentrification has turned some of these corners that held...
Especially, bro, all these clicks and all this, bro. Like, don't that be confusing? Like, how do you know who your ops, bro? Like, then when you clicked up, sometimes it goes well, and then they're gonna be beefing. Now they used to be cool, now they beefing to it, and now they're trying to kill each other. Now they dissing each other. Like, that'd be crazy. They be coming from homies making songs together to that. Now homies are more dissing. They dissing the people that have passed away. It'd be insane. Like, you know what I'm saying? That would be like crazy for real. If I really think about, I'm not gonna lie, like that for real be crazy. If y'all really think about it for real, no lie.
Generations of gang history into open construction sites in recent years. Being in the streets in this neighborhood comes at a cost, and there's been a string of unfortunate souls in the local area who have lost their lives due to the proximity to these gang wars. Members like Charles, Tyree Spencer Jr., and Kyle, aka Crazy K. Hammertown has also bred rappers like Mickal Money and a rap group known as 3 Problems, made up of Rello, Lil Tay, and Swag Huncho, and they would heavily rep Hammertown in their music, and their tracks such as Slide featuring Juice 23 and Problo Gang KB have racked up over 1.5 million views. Swag Huncho would go viral for their track Problems, with them dancing in the video with a gun going viral, but the guns weren't just for show, and Huncho was rumored to have had 5 bodies, allegedly finding his first victim when he was only 12 or 13 years old. This allegedly being a 17-year-old girl called Renisha Precious Cole, who was shot outside of a nightclub in 2010. He also had a reputation of backdooring people close to him, allegedly setting up 3 of his own homies in 2015, one of them being HB from Skank Gang, as well as backdooring Gino aka Skeezy from Blender Gang. But then, in 2015, Huncho himself was shot and killed at just 18 years old.
An 18-year-old Ferguson rapper, once featured by Rolling Stone, was gunned down on Sunday morning in North St. Louis.
I mean, it's karma, bro. R.I.P., but, bro, you backdooring your own homies is insane. Backdooring your own homies? What the fuck? That's what I'm saying. You really gotta watch out who's in your circle, man. Because they be the main ones to get you knocked off or try to rob you. I'm trying to tell you, be the people in your circle. Because you're not going to think, oh, like, if you humble with somebody, you're not going to think they're going to backdoor you. That's why I say, like, keep your friends maybe 1, 2. Because if you hang out with a clique, there's going to be somebody that's probably going to be jealous of you or something like that to where they're going to plot on you and then, you know what I'm saying?
Police found the lifeless body of James Johnson Jr., better known as Swag Honcho, shortly after 10 a.m. in the Jeff Vanderloo neighborhood. He'd been shot in the head at least twice by an unknown killer, authorities said.
Some say he was set up by his own homie Blender Boo as retaliation for killing Gino, but then Blender Boo too would get killed in a triple shooting soon after. The death of Huncho affected the group immensely.
This my brother died, you know what I'm saying? My childhood, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna lie to you, it got to me. I got the trip. I'm in jail, I'm young, my brother just died. You know what I'm saying? I'm tripping.
3 Problems released a tribute song to Huncho's memory, but meanwhile, he would get regularly dissed by his ops.
Swag got killed for thinking he's Gino. You heard me? Swag got killed for thinking he's Gino. That rag straight. Swag got killed for thinking he's Gino.
Swag Huncho's death was devastating for the older generation of street figures from the O, but meanwhile, the new generation of rappers would step in and make music about the war going on in the streets. People like Mickal Money, who we'll get into more later.
I love this.
The Six and their allies are known for their rivalry with several different hoods, but one common denominator with one of their most fiercest rivals is that they rep the 6 Deuce Crips, with their most well-known rivalry being with the 30 Deep clique, headed by the previously mentioned 30 Deep Grimy, who KB6 would famously diss in his song 30 Dead Homies, a response to Grimy's diss track Dead Goofies. However, there is also another 6 Deuce hood who have been in a bloody war with the 6 for years now, this beef eventually leading to one of the most tragic events in the history of St. Louis drill. In the city of Jennings in St. Louis County, about 10 minutes drive north from the hood of 57 Floyd, stands the 2600 block of Solway Avenue, home to the 6 Deuce Crips, known as the 26 Solway, who much like 30 Deep Grimy are known for proudly rocking the colours of the 6 Deuce Crips in St. Louis, blue and orange. This is also why their ops, like the 6, often diss them by saying 2 or Deuce Killer and by cracking 2s with their fingers. 26 Solway are best known for their several popular rappers who rep a clique known as the Big Bucks, the most well known of the group being the rapper Big Bucks Von, who had begun rapping already around 2017 under the name 2 Bucks, his most popular solo song being the 2018 Jug Anthem with Big 5, which has over 850,000 views on YouTube, while other popular songs include tracks like Goofy Weather, Da Vinci or Hot, and Road Rage, where he bragged how his crew will kill their ops and how the Big Bucks are good in every hood. A lot of his music is about wrecking cars and going on high-speed chases, and he calls himself the High Speed King and Mr. Break the Motor, even releasing songs like the 2018 High Speed Anthem that would play a key role in defining the St. Louis drill sound under the nickname High Speed Music.
Big Bucks Vine, man, with 2 Bucks, Big Bucks Vine, however you want to call it, man, you know? Like High Speed King, break the motor, E-brake, jump the curve, whatever you want to call me, man. You know what I do, you know?
Yeah. I feel like, for real, I just give you a rose right while you were here, man. I feel like you started the High Speed. They give it to bruh, you know.
Yeah.
I say you. I say $2. You hear me?
Yeah, no, I ain't gonna fake it. I ain't gonna take the credit from everybody though. Like, you know, everybody, you know, motherfuckers probably started it. I give it to them. Like, ain't nobody get on it how I'm on it.
You know what I'm saying? Really being saying, yeah, it'd be crazy that people pass away and there's a new generation that will keep on doing it and doing it. And they could be the ones to stop it, you know what I'm saying? Be the ones to stop it, try to push peace. But it's for the youth, for the kids coming up, but that's not gonna happen. All this is gonna stop is when everybody is in jail or they're not, you know what I'm saying, not here no more. It's just crazy.
Say I take a high speed, like really high speed, name motors, brake motors, cars, all that. Like, I really do this, recording it. Like, I'm really doing it, you know. Like, I don't know if it's fake it, you know what I mean? Cause then be like, why would you want to break your motor? I don't be wanting to break my motor. This shit happen.
Boys ain't trying to go outside, just break the motor. Should just be happy and be assed out.
There's even a video going around Reddit of him seemingly filming himself in the back of a car that rams a pedestrian. He later changed his rapping name to Big Bucks Von, continuing to release music prolifically, including songs like Fallen Soldiers in 2020, where he rapped about his dead friends, this being a singing, pain music type song, which shows that he has the most versatility of perhaps any artist that I've seen in St. Louis. But his beef with the Ops and 57 Floyd is very personal, and one video even circulated on Reddit apparently showing Big Bucks Von fist fighting with Hothead Capone from 57 Floyd at a gun show in 2021.
Beat him! Beat him! Beat him! Beat him!
There's also Big.
Man, see, they do this and then they will sit here and record it. The same thing in New York. They catch an op. This is the first thing they do. They record it. Oh, you pussy, you pussy, you pussy. They be the first one to record. For what? If you're gonna do something, why are you recording? If you're gonna do something, do it. What's the point of recording? Just say you caught him? Come on now. Like the streets gonna know. The streets is gonna know what you know what I'm saying. Like you record. Guys gonna look at it and say goodbye, you know me?
Bucks Trey, who started dropping music a few years after Von around 2018, his breakthrough track being the song Catch and Cuts, dropping in October 2020. This was an aggressive song that ended with a skit where Trey and Big Bucks members would diss numerous enemy gangs and dead rivals. In one interview with Views from the Arch, Trey would discuss how he had written much of his music while in jail.
I wrote that in jail. Oh God, I wrote all that.
I can tell you.
He recorded that shit.
Yeah. Most of that. They catch you cussing shit.
Trey's gathered numerous music videos with over hundreds of thousands of views, including his most popular song, Yop Yop, and my favorite song of his called Task Force on Me. But Trey and Von often work closely together, including on their 2021 joint mixtape Soul Way or No Way, and numerous music videos like the track Two Man Mission, as well as He Shot, where they diss members from the Six like KB, and Strictly for the Ops, where they once again talk about their passion for high-speed chases with the cops, which Trey is also apparently known for doing, even with him seemingly posting a clip of another member doing the dash from St. Louis Police on his IG story. In his Views from the Arch interview, Trey would casually describe the process of going through a high-speed chase and being disappointed that it didn't last long enough.
Then on my way out, it got spiked and shit. Oh God, it wasn't shit I could do. Didn't go right, lasted a little minute, not long enough. This shit, hot dog, got called everything. This shit, they locked me up. Then I was a juvenile, I got certified and shit.
Von and Trey are the most known faces of the Big Bucks, but there are also many other members, like Big Bucks Nick, who's apparently not been on many songs, but according to Von, is mostly involved in street activity.
What's up with Nick, man? He made that one song, he came out with some slay. Where you been at, man? He made sense.
Man, that's Nick for you, man. Man, Nick out here somewhere, man. He finna be on the one, man. He out here, man.
And then sometimes they go on these interviews and they will self-switch on themselves or they homie. This is why if you're smart enough, all right, boom, do the interviews. But like sometimes how these interviews get you is they ask like questions, but they flip it to where like, you know what I'm saying? Like DJ Vlad, real shit. Nigga ask you like, oh, crazy.
Boy, Nick wasn't never no rapper, man. He be on straight street 24/7. Street.
Everybody got their role.
Hey, don't they though?
Then there's Big Bucks Izzle, Big Buck Sticks, and Big Bucks or Solway JB. However, the most popular song by the Big Bucks clique by far is a track called Big Bucks Anthem, which features Von together with another Big Bucks rapper called Elo B, or simply Elo. The music video for the song now has over 2 million views, but unlike Von and Trey, Elo's music career consisted of only a couple of songs that were dropped few and far in between, and more than music, Elo would become known in the streets as a shooter who wasn't afraid to rap about his gangbanging activities. He was apparently the section's top hitter and had an impressive collection of customized guns, seemingly being obsessed with guns and rapping about them a lot. His Instagram also has no posts, but plenty of saved stories that show him toting guns and money, and he had a lot of beef with people he used to be cool with some even claiming that he was the reason that the Six Deuce Crips had become so hated in St. Louis, while others claimed him to have been the one to spark the latest war between the Rolling 60s and the Six Deuces. But to understand why
some people become cool with each other, people become cool with each other where, like, you know what I'm saying, they're cool with each other to where now it's like no more, you know what I mean?
Elo would become so hated, we have to go all the way back to where the animosity between these two sides first became deadly. In 2016, a young man called Rookie, also known as Ruger Rock or Rook 4, was a popular 17-year-old from the north side of St. Louis. Rookie and his friends repped a clique called OTF, with one of these friends seemingly being none other than Elo B, or Elijah OTF as he was going by at the time. On around the 5th of December 2016, at around 6:30 p.m, Rookie and two friends were driving north on the 5400 block of Riverview Boulevard. After just leaving their school, the Northwest Academy of Law, where they had been watching a basketball game, when another car reportedly drove close to their car and someone inside opened fire. Rookie, real name Damani H, would pass away from his injuries, while his friends would fortunately end up surviving the attack. Rookie's death was a major loss to the people close to him, and they started a clique known as Rookie Gang in his honor, while Elo too was heartbroken, wishing that he could bring his friend back, whilst promising that he would push for Rookie, the meaning of that not being entirely clear. At the time, Rookie's murder would go unsolved, but if online rumors are to be believed, Rookie was killed by none other than KB6, 57 Floyd's biggest rapper, with some even claiming that certain songs like the song Long Live KB6 from the rap group Sixers confirms that KB did indeed kill Rookie, with one Redditor pointing out specific lyrics that supposedly confirm this claim, like the lyric about KB catching someone on a one-way street, although Rookie wasn't actually killed on a one-way street but on Riverview Boulevard, a major two-way arterial road that runs through the northwestern part of the city. However, there is a known one-way street where KB may have indeed caught a body, which we'll discuss later on. But whoever was behind the murder of Rookie, his death must have flipped a switch in Elo, who would allegedly catch a body of his own a few years later in October 2018, when 18-year-old Kamal Jackson Jr., known in the streets as LB Slime, was gunned down in a drive-by shooting on the 10300 block of Lilac Avenue. LB Slime was part of a clique known as BBG or Buki Bucky Gang, who was seemingly cool with Big Bucks back in the day before falling out for some reason and becoming each other's biggest enemies. And as the wildest rumor goes, after shooting Slime, Elo would get out of the car and grab the headband from him that had the big letters spelling BBG, which he would then put on himself and take a picture that he posted online. LB Slime was allegedly the brother of a guy known as Trey Fours, and apparently also cousins with KB6 from Floyd. This murder, if true, explains why Elo was so hated by his ops and would be dissed relentlessly in songs from rappers tied to both BBG and the Six. There have also been rumors that Elo may have killed an older member from the Six from the Acme mob set called KO, real name Dion Woods, who was killed in May 2019 in a quadruple shooting in one of the blocks claimed by the Six, this shooting also claiming the life of another person. KO is a respected name, with many younger members often paying their respects to him. In fact, some people on Reddit have even actually claimed that KO was the father of the new generation rapper Man 6, or his cousin. Although this hasn't been confirmed, Man has heavily repped KO on his social media and music and merches it on his life all the time. Others have disputed the claims that Elo was actually behind this shooting, suggesting that he was actually locked up at the time, with the real culprits possibly being the 30 Deep clique. But what is for certain is that later that same year, Elo B's side would experience another major loss, when in October 2019, a member of the Big Bucks, known as Caleb Twos, real name Caleb Smith, was gunned down in an alley on the 8300 block of Strathmore Place, about 2 miles away from 26 Solway's Hood.
Here in this alley, right here behind me, this is where the shooting took place. Right behind that police car is where the victim's body is lying right now, just at Strathmore Place. A number of people said that they heard the gunshots and described the sound as coming from 2 different calibers of guns. The police were putting out evidence markers in the alley as people who lived nearby watched. Witnesses told us that they saw the dead body of a man in his 20s lying in the alley on the north side of Strathmore. There was a search in the neighborhood for suspects, and a witness told me that officers checked nearby homes to make sure that none of those suspects was hiding in a home. One man was on his porch nearby with his 2-year-old daughter when he heard the gunfire.
It was like maybe 7 or 8, 9.
And the people, you probably just lived there, you know, what the hell's going on, bro? get hit with a straight bullet. You just never know, man. It really be crazy out here, y'all. Like some real shit, man.
9 of them, and then there was an exchange of a small caliber gun.
Already the following day, the police would make a breakthrough, arresting 19-year-old Darion Thomas for the murder, who was better known in the streets as D-Baby, member of the Six.
An update to a story we first brought you as breaking news at 10. A man now faces a murder charge after a 17-year-old was found shot to death in a Jennings alley. Darion Thomas is charged with first-degree murder, accused of killing Caleb Smith. According to court documents, Thomas and another man chased Smith into an alley on Strathmore Place near West Florissant. The man Thomas was with shot at Smith, but police say Thomas is the one who killed the teenager. His bond is set at $1 million.
But the police wouldn't stop there, and eventually in 2021, 2 more people from the Six were charged with the murder of Caleb, including Christopher Williams, aka Lassie, and Jalen Sims, aka Pac-Man, who was seemingly a close friend of KB6. It would turn out that this was only one of the many serious charges that Sims had been collecting, because already in November of 2019, he would be arrested and charged with car break-ins.
New tonight, a serial criminal busted in West County. The arrest caught News 4's attention because of the suspect's rap.
See, yeah, that's what I be trying to figure out. It's like, I'm not trying to figure out, but it be sad because, bro, it's like murder after murder after murder after murder. I be trying to figure is how they get caught. Like, do people begin to drop, like, was they, like, following them or something? So, because I think I heard where, like, somebody there was following them for, like, some hours. Like the Fulio thing, like, they got the drop on Fulio, waited hours and hours to get them. Like, just you wait an hour just to get somebody that bad is insane. You really gotta understand how crazy that really is to, like, wait hours and hours and hours just to get somebody because you want to knock them off. Like, you know how insane that is for real?
Jalen Sims is one of 3 men arrested for breaking into cars in Chesterfield. That took place just off Chesterfield Parkway. It's worth noting that's just down the street from the Chesterfield Police Headquarters.
It's literally almost right across the street from our police station, so bad choice of the criminals for that because, again, our guys were right there, and we had several officers in the area very quickly.
News 4 found Sims is no stranger to the law. He's done time for burglary, unlawful use of a weapon, and resisting arrest. A source tells us other charges will be coming.
Which was followed by 2 charges of armed carjacking, one of these leading to the death of a man, which Sims would plead guilty, receiving a 25-year sentence. Meanwhile, after Caleb's death, members of 26 Solway and Big Bucks would form a clique in his honor called the Caleb Gang. And although there are more people who have died on both sides of this rivalry, it was likely that these losses would help explain a later tragic incident that would end up happening during the summer of 2020. The year 2020 in St. Louis wasn't just the deadliest year in the city's history since the 70s, but the deadliest in the entire country's history over the past 60 years when it comes to cities with over 250,000 inhabitants. Unfortunately, the war between the Six and 26 Solway was about to reach its brutal culmination that year, leading to one of the most insane incidents in the history of St. Louis drill. It was Wednesday, July the 29th, 2020, and KB6 and his partners were outside in the Walnut Park West neighborhood, hanging in their hood on the infamous Floyd Avenue in the heart of the Six. As local news would report, July had been the deadliest month of this already deadly year, with 50 murders that month, making up an insane...
They did say when it comes to the summertime, summer gets hot, that's when all the murders take place. When it's hot, bodies drop. When it's hot, bodies drop. That shit's crazy. Like, they say that shoot. Summertime, that's when you gotta stay safe and move, you know, how you move, man. Cause the summertime, that's how they get you, bro. Summertime is when it's you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's hot, so bodies gonna be dropping this.
1/3 of the year's overall homicide tally at that point, and like always, the great majority of these homicides had taken place in North City. A bit before 1:45 p.m, a stolen car would creep through the neighborhood with 3 armed men inside. This car would drive down the 5500 block of Floyd Avenue, and eventually the people inside that car would find what they were looking for, spotting KV6 himself, real name Malik Taylor, seemingly on his own, making him look like an easy target. The people in the car would open fire, hitting KB, who would fall to the ground next to some parked cars and pass away at the scene. That was only the beginning of what was about to transpire, because after the trio in the car had shot and killed KB, his friends, who were seemingly hanging somewhere close by, would rush to the scene and immediately open fire on the car with the 3 assailants. What happened next has been open to intense debate, but according to one version of the story, the person sitting on the front passenger seat was 18-year-old Daysav, real name Dijon Nearing. He would attempt to shoot at the people taking aim at the car, and by accident would end up shooting and killing the driver of the car, Big Bucks Elo himself, real name Elijah McKinney, while other versions claim that it was either KB6 himself who was able to take aim at Elo B and shoot him dead, or that he was even able to kill both Elo and Daysav before succumbing to his injuries. Another theory is that the people that came to KB's help actually ended up shooting and killing Elo. Von would also later discuss the events of that day in his song Fallen Soldiers, where he rapped that Elo would have made it home if Von had been with him, but in any case, it was mission completed because KB lost his life and Elo got his revenge for Rookie. Von would also seemingly claim that KB didn't kill Elo, and that he knows what actually happened, but it's nothing to talk about, possibly implying that it was indeed Daysav who killed his own friend by accident. Although according to official news sources, it was in fact the people on the street who likely killed Elo, as well as then killing Daysav, who was seemingly gunned down while attempting to escape the scene on foot, as his body was found outside the car.
Hey, bro, you go on the drill, says you completed the mission, but then your life gets taken as well. You go on the drill, you're successful, and then they come back quick, and then they get you. Fucking team deathmatch. That's great.
6, later posting a picture of his body at the scene on social media. Meanwhile, there was the third assailant who was sitting in the back seat of the car, 17-year-old Josh, aka Tay2's, real name Joshua Amerson, who had somehow managed to escape the situation on foot even after getting shot himself. So when the smoke settled, 3 people were dead, including KB6, Big Bucks Elo, and his friend Daysav, while Josh was found injured nearby the scene by the authorities and taken to the hospital. Fox 2 News St. Louis would report on the incident live from the murder scene, highlighting how the shooting had taken place at an already extremely violent period for the city.
In less than 42 hours, 5 people have died on the streets of St. Louis.
Yeah, Vic, of the 3 men who were shot and killed in North City this afternoon are determined to be officially homicides. That means 50 people have been murdered so far in the month of July in the city, and the month isn't over yet. The neighborhood north of Interstate 70, just west of Riverview, shots rang out in large numbers around 1:45 this afternoon. When the bullet stopped flying, 3 people were dead, 1 was wounded. He is hospitalized with his condition unknown this afternoon. Major Mary Warnicki says they've recovered a lot of evidence. In the middle of all the shooting, it appears a car plowed into some parked vehicles. One of the dead victims was found in one of the cars. Now, this all happened in front of the homes on the block of Foy.
Footage of KB laying next to the car after the shootout was uploaded to Reddit after being posted as a story by Big Bucks members. Scenes were captured and published by the St. Louis Dispatch, showing women breaking down at the scene, describing it as a drive-by shooting, while Washington Post, via Associated Press, published a picture showing the scene taped off. But while Josh had miraculously survived the shootout...
That's one thing about Reddit. They'll have the videos, like the people like... I think they even have the FBG Duck, when FBG Duck lost his life. Even Von's body, like, it should be crazy, but like videos, it's really sad and it's like disturbing. You can literally go on Reddit and see this for yourself. It's really disturbing, and it's just crazy that now you can see this type of, even on Twitter, X, you can literally see this right on your For You page. Like,
things weren't over for him, because later in 2020, he would be charged with not just the murder of KB, but also the murders of Elo and Daysav, since he was the only surviving member from the party who had been the aggressors in the incident. This was ultimately a sad loss for all sides, and it really shows you just how much of a dead end this cycle of gang violence truly can be. However, shockingly, a few years later in 2023, the charges were suddenly dropped due to constant problems with witness cooperation in the case. While Josh had made the case that KB6 fired first, and they simply returned fire in self-defense, with prosecutors even being unable to pin down witnesses to testify against that version of events, describing most of the witnesses as in the wind, clearly a wider issue in the city. But Josh wouldn't get to celebrate for long, because only days later, police would close in on him once again, this time arresting him on drug and gun charges, after he had tried to flee in true St. Louis style, taking the cops on a high-speed chase that would end in a spike strip. Following the failed escape attempt, the police would find Josh in possession of an illegal weapon, as well as 800 pills in the car that was believed to be laced with fent. It seems that the feds would eventually take over the case, and in 2020 2024, Josh would end up doing a plea deal and was sentenced to 6 years in prison. Afterwards, some wild conspiracy theories would surface on Reddit, with one person claiming that it was in fact 30 Deep Grimy who had put money on KB's head due to his own side's war with the Six and the disses that KB had sent his way, which Elo had then tried to collect with deadly consequences. Regardless, in the end, both sides of the war would be mourning the loss of their friends, and comments on Reddit would point out how this drill, where nearly everybody died, is really not something to brag about. Members of 26 Solway would be seen in Long Live Elo shirts after his funeral, while Big Bucks Von actually reshared pictures of Elo B holding the gun alleged to have been used to kill KB6, calling it the KB6 Soul Taker. And posts would circulate on Reddit stating that the city turned against him.
And this is how they get arrested. They send a post and a weapon. This is literally how they get arrested from shit like this, bro.
Praising him for remaining in the city despite the pressure from the ops. Von and Trey would discuss how the death of Elo B affected them in an interview with the STL platform, Views from the Arch, making it clear that Elo B was a problem in the streets.
Elo B.
Yeah. He was a problem.
I was just gonna say, like, it seemed like he evidently was, you know, known.
Yeah.
And it seemed like he got a lot of love and he also got a lot of hate.
Von would explain how Elo was a loose cannon in the streets and would go to war, right or wrong.
Elo, man, he just one of them. Man, he one of them brothers. Shit, Elo is Elo, so that's basically what it is. Like, so he one of them brothers that like, man, like you ain't telling him like I ain't gonna fake it. Like you not telling him the sky blue, and you know it's blue, man. Cause like I don't know, cause you ain't telling Elo. I ain't gonna fake it, cause the sky blue, you know it's blue, and he tell you it's green, you standing on it. Like on my mom, like he going for his green, nobody ain't telling him he gonna go to war about it. On my mom, like
basically,
just yeah, man. Elo just wild, cuz, but he just like yeah.
Elo was the problem though. They do love and hate him, but they hate him for a reason.
But the love and hate.
Of course, bro. If you doing the streets, people that's hating you is the ops. So if you doing that, people that's hating you is the ops where they're trying to get you. You know what I'm saying?
I love all this. But they keep it publicity, you know, they keep his name alive, everybody do.
Trey would explain the day that Elo B lost his life was actually the same day that he was released from jail.
You said that when you on your first day out, was that the day that he passed?
Oh yeah. Yeah. First day I had got out of DYS, he had died.
How was that feeling?
Just lost for real. Cause like it's a good thing I got out, then a bad thing, you know, just lost.
Later in the interview, after being asked how much dope they put in a wood, they would diss KB6, saying they smoke him.
What y'all be stuffing in y'all woods?
K. Well, I call him K.
I was talking about like a 3.5.
Oh, like a 3.5. No, I don't know. I just feel it till it stop. You know, shit, we smoke out the piece, so we don't never know.
For real, just put it in there till it's a nice amount. Big fat wood.
Eerily, the night after that shootout took place, which took the lives of both KB6 and Elo B, a new song from Elo B was uploaded to YouTube at 10 PM, meaning that it was recorded and scheduled for upload before this shootout happened, and in a crazy twist of fate, it went on to become the biggest hit from 26 Solway to this date. This was the track Big Bucks Anthem, which was released together with a music video that had been edited to pay tribute to Elo. Shockingly, Elo would practically predict his own fate on the song, first shouting out his dead friend, allegedly killed by KB, before rapping how he might crash out and bounce out on Floyd, the street that his ops are from, and very place he would indeed end up losing his life. People in the comments would react to the craziness of this premonition, commenting how he really did crash out on Floyd like he said in the song. People in the comments would also pay their respects to Elo, saying that he stood on all the stuff that he rapped about and went out the same day as he dropped the song, rapping how he was living the same way. Some people commented it's crazy how many people died behind this song, as eventually the people close to KB from his hood's numerous alliances would decide to capitalize on this tragedy, making a disrespectful reply on the same beat as the Big Bucks Anthem, which would ultimately lead to another rapper losing his life far too young. As the gunsmoke settled, those people who were happy to see Elo gone would hop in the booth and take part in dissing him, most notably 3 rappers from different factions who would all join
2K. Oh my gosh.
Together in their hate towards the 6 Deuce Crips, making a song called 2K or Deuce Killer. This included Meeski Money, who was locked in with the 6 through the 064 Alliance, and the rapper Bookie Glocks, also known as BBG Tai Tai, from the BBG clique.
Oh yeah, man, that's it for part 2. I'll see you on to part 3, man. Be back for part 3. Y'all know what's up.